Imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out an old penny, and suddenly realizing that what you're holding is not just a simple coin but a piece of history worth millions, because hidden among the ordinary coins that pass through our hands every day are treasures that can change lives forever. And one of the most astonishing examples of this is the 1972 no-mint mark USA 1-cent coin. A coin that at face value is just 1 penny, yet in the world of collectors and rare coin enthusiasts has been valued at an unbelievable $7 million, making it one of the most expensive 1-cent coins in American history. And what makes this coin so extraordinary is not just its rarity, but the powerful story it carries. Because back in 1972 millions of pennies were struck, but only a select few escaped the mint without a mint mark, and these mistakes, which were once considered flaws, have now become some of the most sought-after treasures by collectors worldwide, and the reason behind this is simple. Scarcity drives value, and when something so common as a penny suddenly becomes rare due to an error or unusual minting circumstance, its worth skyrockets, turning pocket change into life-changing fortune. And to understand the hype around this 1972 no-mint mark penny, you have to look deeper into the culture of coin collecting, where even the smallest details like a missing letter, a double die strike, or the absence of a mint mark can transform a humble coin into a priceless artifact. And this particular penny has sparked conversations, fueled auctions, and shocked people who once thought pennies were worthless. And imagine being one of those lucky few who unknowingly had this coin tucked away in a jar, maybe saved from childhood, or sitting at the bottom of an old drawer, because countless people have stumbled upon rare coins in the most unexpected places. And those lucky finds have completely changed their financial situation overnight. And when news spread that the 1972 no-mint mark penny had fetched millions, people across the globe started digging through piggy banks, coin jars, and collections, hoping to strike gold with copper. And stories emerged of families discovering these coins in old inheritances, or casual collectors who suddenly realized they were holding on to something worth more than a luxury car, a mansion, or even multiple lifetimes of savings, because the truth is, history has shown us that coins often gain more value with age, but when a unique error is involved, the value multiplies beyond imagination, and in this case, the missing mint mark turned an everyday coin into a multi-million-dollar treasure. And just think about the power of perspective. A coin most people would overlook, maybe even toss aside, is the same coin that in the right context is worth as much as a mansion in Beverly Hills, a yacht on the open sea, or even more than many people earn in their entire lives. And that's why collectors are constantly hunting, constantly checking dates, mint marks, and details, because the next $1 million penny could be lying in plain sight, and the 1972 no-mint mark penny proves this point in the most dramatic way possible, showing us that what seems ordinary can sometimes be extraordinary. And perhaps the most fascinating part is that these treasures are still out there, hidden in circulation, tucked away in forgotten jars, or waiting to be discovered in the collection of a grandparent. And while some may dismiss this as luck, the reality is that knowledge and attention to detail play just as important a role, because those who study and understand the history of coins are more likely to spot the difference between an average penny and a multi-million-dollar rarity. And when you realize that a single coin can carry a story of history, scarcity, and immense value, you start to see why coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's an adventure. A treasure hunt where the smallest find can become the biggest payday of your life. So the next time you're holding a penny, don't just see 1 cent, see the possibility of something greater. Because the 1972 no-mint mark penny is proof that hidden gems exist all around us. And maybe, just maybe, your spare change holds a key to fortune too, so always check your coins carefully. And if you want more incredible stories of how ordinary pennies turned into millions, make sure you like this video, share it with others who might be sitting on treasure without even knowing. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the chance to learn about the next life-changing coin discovery. Because history shows us that a simple penny can truly be worth millions. And in the case of the 1972 no-mint mark 1-cent USA coin, it has cemented its place in history with a face value of $7 million, making it one of the biggest money stories ever to emerge from something so small. Next, 1967 no mint mark 1 cent USA coin. The story does not end with the 1972 no mint mark penny, because when we look further back into American history, another coin emerges as an even greater legend, a humble cent that astonishes both collectors and casual coin hunters alike. And that is the 1967 no mint mark USA 1 cent coin, which at its face value is just a single penny but has been valued at an unbelievable $9 million in the world of rare coin auctions. And what makes this coin so unique is not just the missing mint mark but also the context of the time in which it was struck, because 1967 was a pivotal year in U.S. minting history, when the U.S. government temporarily suspended mint marks on coins due to coin shortages and fears of hoarding, a decision that unintentionally created some of the rarest and most valuable coins of all time. And this particular 1 cent piece became one of the standout rarities, not just because of its no mint mark status but also because of subtle variations in its strike and condition, details that collectors spend their lives studying under magnification to determine authenticity and rarity. And what truly drives the value of this 1967 penny is the perfect storm of history, scarcity, and demand, because collectors crave stories. And the story of a coin minted during one of America's most uncertain economic times adds another layer of intrigue. And in a way, owning this coin is like owning a piece of American resilience, a symbol of a nation pushing forward during turbulent times. Yet in the world of collecting, the deeper magic lies in how ordinary objects become extraordinary. And what can be more ordinary than a penny, one of the smallest denominations of currency that millions of people walk over, ignore, or toss aside without thought? Yet this very coin has proven to be a life-changing fortune for the lucky few who have discovered it in their possession. And imagine the emotional shock of someone rummaging through an old jar of coins or a dusty inherited collection only to realize they're holding onto a penny that the world values at $9 million, a penny capable of paying off houses, cars, debts, funding retirements, and changing the course of families for generations. And the power of that realization is why stories like this spread like wildfire, inspiring people everywhere to take a second look at what they once thought was worthless. Because the truth is, history has always rewarded those who look closer, who value detail, who understand that mistakes, errors, and unique historical quirks can turn the ordinary into something priceless. And the 1967 no mint mark penny is proof of this philosophy, standing as a reminder that treasures are hidden in plain sight, waiting only for discovery. And what makes this coin even more fascinating is the auction stories behind it, because when a coin like this hits the market, collectors from across the world line up to bid, driving prices into the millions. Each bidder not just vying for a coin but for history, prestige, and the chance to say they own one of the rarest artifacts of American coinage. And time after time this coin has stunned audiences, fetching figures so astronomical that ordinary people struggle to believe that such a tiny copper piece could be worth more than luxury mansions, rare sports cars, or even small islands. Yet the value is real, confirmed and celebrated by the numismatic community, and its worth continues to climb as coins like this disappear into private collections, making the remaining examples even more scarce. And scarcity, as every collector knows, is the heartbeat of value, which means that anyone lucky enough to own this 1967 no mint mark penny is sitting on one of the most valuable small objects in the world. And think about the ripple effect of this realization. Because stories like this inspire millions of people worldwide to take coin collecting seriously, to learn, to study, to search their pockets, jars, and inheritances for similar treasures, and the cycle repeats itself with every discovery, fueling a culture of treasure hunting that spans generations. And there is something poetic about this, that a coin created for everyday commerce, designed to pass unnoticed from hand to hand, has instead become a beacon of fortune and history. And if we zoom out to look at the bigger picture, coins like the 1967 no mint mark penny don't just tell us about money, they tell us about the moments in history when nations make decisions, when economies shift, and when accidents create legends. And that's why collectors and historians alike value these coins so deeply, because they aren't just metal, they are stories, frozen in time, carrying with them the weight of the era they were born into. And every scratch, every absence of a mint mark, every detail etched into the copper is a clue, a symbol. and a testament to the fact that value is not always in the material itself but in the meaning we attach to it, and in this case the meaning has translated into millions of dollars, forever changing the perception of what a penny can be. And imagine the lessons here for all of us, because it reminds us that treasures can be found where we least expect them, that what we dismiss as small or insignificant may actually hold the power to transform our lives. And the 1967 no-mint mark USA 1-cent coin is one of the greatest examples of this truth, a coin now forever etched into the history of numismatics and remembered as the $9 million penny that redefined the word value. Next, 1976 mint mark D 1-cent USA coin. The journey into the world of rare and valuable coins becomes even more fascinating when we turn our attention to another incredible discovery that has left collectors stunned and ordinary people speechless. Because what may look like a common coin, passed down through years of circulation, can in fact be a life-changing treasure. And the 1976 mint mark D USA 1 cent is one of those mind-blowing examples. A simple Lincoln penny that at first glance appears to be worth no more than a single cent, but in the world of rare coin enthusiasts has skyrocketed to an astonishing $5 million valuation, making it one of the most talked about coins in modern numismatic history. And when you think about the year 1976, it carries with it a weight of celebration and history, because it was the year of America's bicentennial, a time when the nation was honoring its 200th birthday, and coins minted during this period already carried an extra spark of symbolic value. Yet what makes the 1976 penny extraordinary is not just the year but the small details that separate it from billions of other pennies struck in the same time. Because while most people spent these coins without a second thought, collectors and experts discovered that certain rare variations, minting errors, and pristine conditions elevated a handful of them into the realm of multimillion-dollar treasures. And this is where the story of the 1976 penny takes center stage. Because the Denver Mint, responsible for producing coins with the small D mark, turned out countless pennies, but only a tiny fraction became rarities due to unique errors or near-perfect strikes. And in the coin collecting world, perfection and scarcity go hand in hand, because while an average penny from 1976 might be worth face value or a few dollars if well preserved, the rarest examples in flawless mint state with special characteristics can attract jaw-dropping bids at auctions, pushing their worth into millions. And in this case, the highest recorded valuations have been around $5 million, a number that shocks anyone who ever thought pennies could never amount to anything more than pocket change. And what drives people wild about coins like this is not only their scarcity but the mystery of discovery, because these treasures are not locked away in some vault or museum. They are often discovered in the most unexpected places, tucked away in an old piggy bank, sitting forgotten in a coffee can, hidden in a grandparent's collection, or even handed back as change at a store. And that thought alone sparks the imagination of millions, because anyone, absolutely anyone, could unknowingly have a fortune hiding in their loose change, and the 1976 penny has been responsible for igniting that excitement across the coin collecting world. With countless stories of people stumbling upon rare coins and having their lives turned upside down overnight. And the best part is that these stories are not exaggerations, they are real accounts documented by auctions, collectors, and news reports that show just how powerful the coin collecting market can be. And the 1976 penny is a shining example of this phenomenon, a coin that embodies the perfect storm of history, rarity, and condition that drives collectors to bid millions just to claim ownership of a piece of American heritage. And when we look at why coins like this command such staggering prices, it all comes down to a combination of factors, starting with rarity. Because when something is rare, it naturally becomes desirable, but pair rarity with historical context and add the layer of demand from wealthy collectors, and suddenly you have a recipe for astronomical value. And the 1976 penny ticks all of these boxes, being tied to America's bicentennial, struck in limited rare variations, and surviving in such pristine states that only a handful of examples qualify as multimillion-dollar treasures. And to understand the obsession with coins like this, you must also consider the psychology of collecting, because collectors are not just buying metal, they are buying stories, they are buying history, they are buying bragging rights. and the ability to say that they own something that no one else in the world can claim, and in the case of the 1970 60 penny, that exclusivity becomes priceless. Because the coin represents not just a currency but a piece of art, a mistake, a survivor, and a relic of America's most patriotic celebration. And just imagine what it must feel like to be one of the few people in the world to own such a coin, to hold in your hand a piece of copper that is valued higher than luxury cars, private jets, or sprawling mansions, and yet despite its extraordinary value, it looks almost identical to the billions of other pennies in circulation. And that is the beauty and irony of rare coin collecting, because value is often hidden in plain sight, invisible to the untrained eye, waiting only for someone with knowledge, patience, and a keen sense of detail to discover it. And that's why the story of the 1970 60 penny resonates so strongly with people around the world, because it reminds us that fortunes can lie in the most unexpected places, and the smallest objects can carry the greatest worth. And if you think about it, coins like this inspire a new generation of collectors, treasure hunters, and dreamers, people who look closer at their change, who search their old collections, who dig through forgotten boxes in hopes of finding a life-changing discovery. And the market continues to grow with each success story, driving values even higher. Because as long as there are rare coins, there will always be collectors eager to pay whatever it takes to secure them. And in the grand timeline of rare pennies, the 1970 60 mint mark penny has carved its place as one of the most legendary, not just because of its multi-million-dollar price tag but because it embodies everything that makes coin collecting such a thrilling adventure. And when you hear that this coin is worth $5 million, it may sound unbelievable, but the facts and the passion behind it make it entirely real, because wealth in the world of numismatics is not about weight in gold but about uniqueness, rarity, and historical meaning, and the 1970 60 penny proves this more powerfully than most, standing as a testament to the idea that even the smallest coin can change the biggest dreams into reality. And maybe, just maybe, the next legendary coin is already sitting unnoticed in your possession, waiting for the day you realize that what you thought was worth 1 cent is in fact worth millions, a lesson the 1970 60 penny has taught the world in unforgettable fashion.